What's up, cuzzy wuzzies? What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the video. Today is a huge day. A new Path of Exile Affliction League has been revealed, rather. The actual live stream happened around midnight my time, so I couldn't catch it live. But as soon as I woke up, I wanted to record my initial reaction to it. I'll be watching it for the first time right now with you guys. And yeah, let's just, without any further ado, jump straight to it. And let's see what it's all about, man. I'm so excited. Let's look at this beautiful, bold man named Chris Wilson. Let's see what the GGD team has prepared for us this time. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us for today's Path of Exile livestream. We have a packed show today, with announcements for Path of Exile 2, as well as the exclusive unveiling of Path of Exile Affliction, which launches on December 8th on PC and Mac, and on December 13th on console. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Huntsman wings. We'll start with Path of Exile 2, where Jonathan will walk you through our latest announcements. Mark will then take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Affliction Challenge League, which launches in 1 week. He'll cover the league mechanics, its rewards, some new content we're adding to the core Path of Exile experience, and some large metagame changes. I'll then show you our annual core supporter packs, and we'll head into our live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask us your questions from Twitch chat. After the livestream, we'll drop the full patch notes.
I am so excited.
I'd like to hand over to Jonathan Rogers, Game Director of Path of Exile 2.
I'm so excited.
Hey guys, it's been a few months since we introduced you to the Druid in Path of Exile 2.
Yes.
But one of the things that we're really focusing on now is how varied each of the classes feels to play. The Monk darts around quickly from enemy to enemy, building and unleashing combos. If he doesn't stay in combat, he loses momentum and has to build it up again. The Warrior, on the other hand, is like a slow but unstoppable freight train. A warrior commits to big attacks and relies on stunning his enemies to stay safe in the thick of combat.
Game looks so
when an
good,
opening
man.
presents itself, a warrior can use even larger attacks to demolish his enemies.
Look at how beautiful the environments
The
are.
Huntress seamlessly moves from melee to ranged combat and back. The true damage potential of the Huntress is only unlocked when you learn to combine ranged and melee abilities together. And then there are the Spellcasters. The Sorceress is a pure caster who much prefers to stay at range and drop powerful spells on her foes. If she finds herself surrounded by enemies, she would rather use an ability to escape than to take them on directly. The Druid is also a spellcaster, but unlike the Sorceress, he uses his spells as a means to support his melee abilities. And by melee abilities, we mean he can turn into a giant animal and rip his enemies to pieces. Each of these classes feels extremely different to play. But we
Man,
want to
Druid
go
looks
even further.
sick.
It's time to check out the Mercenary.
Woo! Let's go,
There's not
baby!
a job out there I won't take, so long as the pay's good and a crossbow can solve it.
Oh, this is the Pew Pew class. Okay. We've not had crossbows
Take
before.
them all down,
This is
one
new.
bolt at a time.
Interesting.
Thinking about each new class, we really try to think about how we can make combat feel different from all the others. For the Mercenary, that difference is the crossbow. A crossbow is fundamentally different than a regular bow because it fires instantly instead of needing to be drawn back. This means that you need immediate feedback. Clicking the fire button should make the character shoot instantly, just like in a shooter. As soon as we experienced that, we realized that there are a lot of design lessons to learn from shooters, and so we fully embraced them. In Path of Exile 2, we have crossbows that work like sniper rifles,
PoE
shotguns,
shooter, let's go.
and assault rifles.
God damn. What?
But in order to really get shooter-like gameplay, we wanted to go
FPS
further.
PoE?
In Path of Exile
What is
2, we
happening?
now support WASD movement. You can now walk around in any direction independent of aiming. In fact, if this is your preferred method of gameplay, you can use it on any class, regardless of what weapon type you're using. You can change between
WSD?
click to move or WASD at any time.
Oh my god!
You can only hold 2 crossbows at a time, but Path of Exile 2 is all about interesting combinations of abilities. And
Dude,
this is
that's
where ammo skills come in.
insanity!
This is a burst shot crossbow, and right now I have armor-piercing ammo equipped, which makes it very effective when facing a group of enemies, since it pierces right through them.
I wonder if that only works for this class
There
though.
are other ammos too. For a bigger single target, it might be a good idea to switch to Incendiary.
Like,
The
can you
more
switch to
projectiles hit the target, the
WSD
stronger the ignite.
on other
So you'll want to
classes?
get up nice, close and personal with this one.
Very interesting.
If you have a bunch of targets running at you, you might want to slow them down. In this case, you could switch to Permafrost Burst Shot. Shooting a bunch of smaller enemies at range will chill them, and potentially even freeze them in place. Once you have some
Okay.
frozen enemies though, you can switch back to Armor Piercing. Shooting a frozen enemy with Armor Piercing Burst Shot will explode the ice, doing a huge amount of damage to all nearby enemies. Another feature crossbows have is attachments. This is a grenade launcher. As you can see, when I equip it, it appears on the underside of the crossbow. These attachments are just like skill gems, so you effectively get extra skill slots, and you can augment these with support gems, just like regular skills.
So it's like a quiver, but
These
it has
grenades take a while
slots
to explode,
for
so it's a good
gems.
idea to pair them with some kind of crowd control, like Permafrost Burst Shot.
that's crazy. Yo, that might be broken as fuck.
We have other grenades too though. This attachment is a flash grenade. It does barely any damage, but it does a huge amount of stun. It can be a great opener before you run into combat. Now, here's another attachment, an oil grenade.
So effectively, you
Firing
get
one of these
you
grenades
can use
coats the
2
ground
weapons.
and nearby enemies
It's
in
like having
oil.
2 weapon slots,
Oil
right?
slows enemies down, so it's another useful crowd control mechanic.
I mean, not like, it's exactly what it is, right? 2 weapon slots with 2 weapons with their own skill gems or whatever.
Now, another thing that oil can do is be set on fire. Any burning enemy or explosion will ignite the oil, causing extra burning damage.
Yo, that looks insane.
One of the problems with burst shot crossbows is that each pellet doesn't do much damage individually. This means that
Fire
if
dart
enemies have
builds?
armor, then it will be very effective preventing that damage. But thankfully, you can equip an additional crossbow in your second weapon set to deal with the weaknesses of your primary weapon. This is a rapid shot crossbow. Rapid shot is great for closing on enemies because you can shoot while running. In Path of Exile 2, we now have the ability to allow you to use some skills while moving. Being able to create skills like this opens up a lot of new design space and allows us to really increase the pace of combat. The armor-piercing version of Rapid Shot slowly erodes a monster's armor. Once the armor is fully broken, you can easily switch back to Burst Shot to deal much more damage.
Wow. So what
Being
is that?
able
I
to run
wonder
while
what
shooting
that
with
looks
Rapid
like
Shot is
on
also
like.
great for when you want to perform a fighting retreat.
I wonder what that looks like on a higher level. You know what I mean? Like end game level. This is clearly like campaign environment, right? There's not a lot of mobs. You're not really running, clearing out. You just like it looks like the character is clearly not as powerful. So it looks like it's somewhere earlier in the game, right? I'm like 99% sure this is like a chunk from a campaign somewhere. But what does that rapid shotgun or whatever looks like at endgame? once you max everything on your character with min-maxed all the rolls, because it attacks so quickly, you'll just melt everything, especially bosses, probably. Like, imagine having upwards of 10 million DPS right now in Path of Exile at that attack speed. Like, per hit. The closest thing I can think of is, like, Frost Blades on a very, very high level. They might be attacking as quickly, but probably not even as quick. I think the highest attack speed that you can get on that is like, oh, I've seen anyway, people have like 10.6, 10.7, maybe 12. I'm not sure if I saw 12 attacks per second with Frostblades, maybe. But let's say 12 is the maximum. That's a lot of attacks per second. But this looks like it's attacking way faster than that.
Reload!
So imagine you have like a cold build that freezes everything,
Using permafrost ammo with rapid
just
shot
like
is also
Frostblades,
useful if you need
and
to retreat.
attacking that faster
When
or
you
even
shoot the
faster.
ground,
There
it
you go.
creates ice crystals.
There you
If you
go.
draw monsters back over these crystals, they explode, chilling the monsters.
This is what
It's
I'm talking
great
about.
if
So
you
if
want to
you
set up a
build
safe zone before
everything
pulling the
around
next pack.
freezing enemies and having this extremely high attack speed, it's crazy.
Slowing enemies down can come in handy if you want to use the incendiary version of rapid shot. Using this skill requires that you charge up a little bit before it fires, but as it continues to heat up, it will do more and more damage. It has a really large clip size, so you can just keep firing and firing with it. But the other really useful feature is that when the crossbow is heated up, it adds extra fire damage to any grenade that you launch.
Wow. Wow. I don't know if I like the fact that you have to reload.
Now I've been using explosive grenades here, but it will work equally as well with flash or oil grenades too. If you use it with oil grenades, the oil will catch fire immediately.
Again, imagine you have like hundreds of monsters on the screen and you have to reload. And you're running a map with like 8 modifiers on it. It's gonna be like, you're not gonna have time to reload.
Another crossbow type that you can find is Power Shot. This one works just like a classic sniper rifle. Use it with armor-piercing ammo and it will penetrate armor on targets. So it's a
That
good
looks
idea to
sick.
use when something's really tough.
Piercing shot.
Back down or die!
Now this skill has another interesting interaction with armor break. If an enemy has its armor broken, then your Power Shot hits a weak spot and does a huge amount of single target damage, with a bunch of extra stun for good measure.
Ah, looks like ass. Too slow.
Now, the incendiary version of Power Shot is more like a rocket launcher. It does a big explosive blast at a distance.
Too slow and no clear. I don't know if I like it. Now that looks better.
One of the really useful features of this version is that you can explode any grenades that happen to be on the ground.
Yeah, there you go. So that becomes like a 2-button build.
This combo also works really well with incendiary rapid shot. I'm going to charge up the heat on my crossbow, shoot out a bunch of grenades, and then start the fireworks with a Power Shot.
So they're really making us rethink our like one button kind of meta builds that we've had for
Ice version
so
of
many
Power
years
Shot
now
creates
in
frost
Path
walls
of
at a
Exile 1.
distance. This is great for crowd controlling monsters in tight passages. The wall
'Cause from
segments have other uses too.
what they
If they get
showcased so
destroyed by
far-
monsters, then they will explode, doing a
From what they showed so far, with the Druid gameplay, this one, stuff from ExileCon, all these builds, all these classes, they have certain they're using more than one skill, obviously. This is what they're kind of hammering on, right? The idea of having synergies between different skills. So it's not like just press one button and everything dies type of scenario anymore. But again, they have never showed us end gameplay yet. They've never showed us any type of fighting in the Atlas, or like, you know, at a like higher levels or whatever. All they've showed us so far was just campaign stuff. So I wonder how all this works when there's a lot of mobs density, a lot of mobs on the ground next to you and whatnot. That could have been different, which is that's part of the reason why no one's playing like several button builds unless you're a summoner, because on a high level you don't have time to press all the buttons, right? Because you have to play with the flasks, you have to fucking press flasks all the time, and if you have like 3-4 buttons on the build, it becomes too much, right? Like you're just playing a piano. And on higher level, you don't have time to react like that. That's why everyone tries to build around one skill, one button. You just go in, you press it, either everything proliferates and dies on the screen, or you know, you just attack so good or so well that, or like, you know, everything just dies quickly, and then you just go from one target to another to another to another, if it's a melee build, let's say. Or but even melee builds, people don't really build them like that. They still tend to build them so that they do AoE damage, that they explode the screen, that they're like the elemental damage, if it is elemental damage, proliferates through the entire pack or whatever. But here in Path of Exile 2, they're really hammering on that idea of, okay, you have a lot of synergies between this thing and that thing, and you have to now think about how to, like, while you're in combat, you have to think how to apply all these different things. So it adds that another layer, like as if Path of Exile is not complicated enough already. It adds that and that other complexity level into the actual gameplay. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I need to, I guess, play it to feel it, to test it out for myself. But so far, I feel like on a higher level, it will be annoying. That's how I personally feel. If the game is as crazy on a higher level as PoE 1 is, you know what I mean? But if it's like this throughout the entire game, then it's fine. Like, let's say it's because this feels more like Diablo 2 or Diablo 4, that rather than PoE. Because when you're just fighting small packs per time, or at a time, there's not a lot of mobs that attacking you, maybe like, you know, 10 mobs maximum, and then you move around, you shoot them, you do your thing, and then you move on to the next pack. So if it's like that, then I can see it working. But if it's like, if you're running into the map and it's like 800 mobs right away, like 5 packs juiced to the gills jumping you, I don't know if I'll enjoy throwing grenades and then shooting and then reloading at the same time after that. And it's just, I don't know how that will play. Again, have to play it to see it, to feel it.
Small amount of damage.
Like, see right there, he reloaded while mobs are around him. Like, you're not gonna be able to do that at, you know, tier 16
now,
maps.
Remember that burst shot combo with frozen enemies we did earlier? That works with ice walls too. Let's put burst shot back on.
Because remember,
now
in these games,
up this area with ice walls, then shoot them with armor-piercing burst shot for
the
a huge
best
amount of
defenses are mobility and offense. So the faster and the harder you hit, the faster you'll be killing the mobs, meaning the lower damage you're gonna receive, because the mobs will be
Alright,
dying.
it's time to face the boss for this area. Let's see how we fare against her with all the skills I've
And
shown you so
movement,
far.
because if you're moving, they can't hit you. But when you're reloading, it feels like you're stationary, you're not attacking, and so you get it.
Stay still, the mother! No.
The fuck is this?
Oh, my dear child! Your time has...
She needs to go to the gym.
Rapid fire!
Children! Eat your fill!
God damn. Wait, I just realized she just gave birth to that thing in the middle of the fight? That's fucking wild and nasty. Damn. Nice.
What is going on in this godforsaken city?
And that's the Mercenary. It feels totally different than anything we've made before, and shows you the range of what's possible in Path of Exile 2.
Damn, son. It's definitely different. Definitely different. I don't know if I like the reloading mechanic.
We're going to be showing off a lot more about Path of Exile 2 as we approach its beta.
But
in the
it looks
meantime, we've got
interesting,
Path of Exile
still.
1 expansion coming out next week. I'm going to hand over to Mark, also known as Neon, to show you what's in store for PoE 1.
Thanks, Jonathan. Well, let's just go ahead and get straight on into it. Here's the trailer for Path of Exile Affliction.
Here we go.
Something moves in the mists. Something sinister. Thorn. Rot. Plague. And claw. The affliction spreads. It hungers for more.
Oh, please tell me this is...
Tread lightly in the Wildwood, which shifts and bites.
Please tell me this is not like a separate area again.
Accept our help, the ancient power of the Asmiri.
What?
Beware the spirits that yearn for freedom,
What the shit was that?
and the heart of evil that waits in the dark.
Was that a new Ascendancy? What?
Ready yourself.
Ooh!
I will be waiting.
Oh, hell yeah! Damn! New Ascendancy? Ultimatum back? Yo, that shit is bussin', man.
In the Affliction League, you will encounter sacred wisps, which beckon you to enter overgrown passageways that lead to the Viridian Wildwood. A vile affliction has covered
man.
this forest with a foreboding darkness. You'll need to uncover the forest mysteries to put a stop to the source of the affliction.
Okay.
As you approach the darkness, the wisps burn away its affliction. Make sure you tread carefully, because they only have a limited amount of power. But be warned, the darkness is full of cursed monsters that emerge to kill you. As you explore, you might see other types of wisps trapped inside the darkness. The Wildwood is trying to guide you towards clues about its affliction.
So it's like Abyss?
Follow the trails of wisps by collecting them, and you may uncover many different secrets. New characters to find, shrines, boss battles, and all kinds of new encounters are lurking in the forest just waiting for you to discover them. There are many rewards to earn for those brave enough to seek them.
Dude,
When the
is that
sacred
clean?
wisps run out of energy, they will return you back to where you came from.
Are they saying they buff melee?
Any other types of wisps you have collected
that
will
what they're
return
saying?
with you to Rayclast. These wisps, having been saved from the affliction, disperse into the environment and inhabit randomly chosen monsters in the area, increasing their power and also their rewards.
Okay.
The different types of wisps have different effects on monsters, and sometimes more than one type will inhabit a single monster, making the fight even harder and even more rewarding.
Okay.
If this happens to a boss, you could be in for a tough fight, but if you can overcome it, your efforts will not be in vain. Primal wisps grant an item rarity bonus to inhabited monsters.
Yeah,
Wild
buffing
wisps grant an
innocence
item quantity
is
bonus, and vivid wisps cause them to drop currency items.
is the
If a
wildest
monster
thing
gets
to
all
do.
3 types, they'll drop more items of a higher rarity and a lot of currency. While exploring
Divine
the
Orb?
Wildwood, you might find some of the last few Asmeri wanderers who have managed to survive in the forest since it was cursed. Each of them have different survival specializations, and they are willing to teach you if you agree to help them defeat the source of the affliction, the King in the Mists. Choose which of the Asmeri that you will complete quests for to unlock one of 3 new Ascendancy classes, which you can have in addition to your regular Ascendancy class. Up to 8 points for these classes are unlocked as you complete more quests for the Asmeri you are training under. The Warden of Eves can teach you to become a Warden of the Magi, a powerful class that takes advantage of wilderness knowledge. A Warden of the Magi can learn to use tinctures which coat their weapon, granting various powerful effects. You can equip
What?
tinctures in your flask slots and toggle them on and off at will.
Oh
You can
my
only have one
god!
enabled at a time, but the effects are quite conditional, so you may want to have more than one equipped and swap between them during combat. For example, equip the Ironwood Tincture to gain the benefit of always stunning enemies on full life.
Yo.
Tinctures can also get random mods. This one in particular adds stacks of wither to targets on full life and steals frenzy charges on hit, which makes it great as an initiator. When you are fighting rare monsters or finishing off tough bosses, you will want to swap to the Oak Branch Tincture, which grants Culling Strike, increased damage against enemies on low life, and has a chance to steal a mod from rare enemies you kill. You can buy more tinctures from the Warden of Eves using Primal Wisps when you find her in the forest, so keep an eye out for her. As a Warden of the Magi gains more Ascendancy points, they gain access to more skills that let them further specialize in tinctures. For example, Nature's Concoction allows you to invest in having your tinctures enhance your flasks. This Ascendancy skill makes it important to think about which slots your tinctures are placed in, and what flasks they are adjacent to. You will have better uptime on those flasks and they'll be stronger as a result. But there are plenty more skills to choose even if you don't want to engage with tinctures. For example, another new ability to unlock is Barkskin. It's a reservation skill that causes bark to grow all over your body, increasing armor. As you take damage, the bark falls off, increasing your evasion. Over time, the bark will grow back, removing the evasion bonus but increasing your armor again.
Dude.
The Breaker of Oaths can teach you to become a Warlock of the Mists, an Ascendancy class specializing in the darker arts of the Asmeri. One powerful ability you can choose is Blood Hunt, which grants an active skill called Ravenous. This skill lets you see what type a monster is under its life bar, whether it is a demon, beast, undead, construct, or humanoid. Consuming a corpse with this skill gives a buff to damage against that type of monster, and reduces damage taken by it. You can only have one type active at a time, so it's a good idea to choose wisely for the area that you are in. Some bosses
gonna
like the
stop
Maven
to
are
look at
eldritch
the
in nature
mobs?
and don't conform to the regular corpses that you have access to. But don't worry.
I feel like
The Breaker of
nobody's
Oaths
gonna
has a
use
shop
that.
where you can trade wild wisps for corpses that you can place on the ground wherever you are.
Okay.
Buy an Eldritch Corpse and you will be able to get the bonus while fighting Eldritch entities like the Maven. You may notice that most of the corpses he sells are not monsters you normally encounter. You might want to try turning some of these corpses into specters, to take advantage of some of the unique abilities that these monsters have.
Ooh. Oh wow. Oh shit.
The Warlock of the Mists gets access to many other abilities. For example, there is a trio of curses that you can pick from.
Summoner OP?
One of these curses targets your minions, giving them life degen and making them explode for massive damage when they are near death. One of them prevents enemies from dealing damage for the latter portion of its duration, which is quite powerful against bosses. This curse creates the interesting build decision of whether or not you should increase curse duration or reduce it. The final curse is a mark that causes enemy phantasms to be spawned when you hit the marked enemy. These phantasms aren't on your side, so they work well with on-hit and on-kill trigger effects, for example.
What?
The Primal Huntress can teach you to become a Wildwood Primalist. Unlike the other new Ascendancies, the Primal Huntress lets you customize your tree.
No shot.
You do this with charms that you can buy from the Primal Huntress for Vivid Wisps. Charms have randomly generated mods, which give stats from regular Ascendancy classes, allowing you to create your own hybrid Ascendancy class.
No way!
Charms are magic items that are aligned with different attributes. So for example,
You get to have a
this Ursuline charm
Scion
is
on top of
strengthened
everything
and
else?
has gotten the melee hits have a chance to fortify stat from the champion, and the ability to stop your movement speed going below base from the Juggernaut. This Interline Corvine charm lets you get the stat that makes your consecrated ground effects linger from the Inquisitor, and the effect that makes cursed enemies explode from the Occultist. Some of the combination of mods that you might find for sale on charms can be extremely powerful, so keep a lookout for the Primal Huntress
might be the
shop,
best
even
one.
if you are not playing as a Primalist.
Look at that!
As a Primalist, you also get access to a few other interesting abilities.
+1
Use
to
War Cries
endurance
next
and
to
frenzy
corpses and they have a
charges?
chance to drop an extra item. It opens nearby chests too. The Primalist also gets access to a small extra backpack, just in case you find yourself needing to cart more items to town during your map runs.
Okay.
If you are unhappy with the class you picked, or you just happen to find a really great item for another one of the classes, you are able to change which class you are using next time you find one of the Asmeri Wanderers. Just remember that you will have to do their quests in order to gain the Ascendancy points for that class. These quests will lead you towards the ultimate goal of the Asmeri: finding the King in the Mists, defeating him, and cleansing the forest of its affliction once and for all. There are new uniques to find, rewards to claim, and new Ascendancy classes to master in the Affliction League. Now that we've covered what's in the League, let's talk about some of the changes you can expect to the core game in 3.23. For a start, Ultimatum is finally going core. When talking to players at ExileCon, it was the #1 feature that people requested. When playing through in-game maps, you may sometimes encounter the Trial Master, who offers you a choice to undertake a deadly Val trial in exchange for great rewards.
Yeah, baby.
If you defeat the trial, he offers to go double or nothing with you. Do you take the risk and go for an even better reward? Or do you take the winnings you have already earned off the table and go home? We've done a full rebalance of Ultimatum and have added many new mods and rewards. Including both new and reworked uniques. The base number of rounds for an Ultimatum trial is now always 10, with a chance to spawn the Trial Master boss fight on the 10th round, if you are able to make it that far. As part of 3.23, we have also removed Metamorph from the game. All the Catalyst rewards from Metamorph have now been moved to be rewards for Ultimatum. We have also added a new Val-themed Catalyst that works on corrupted items. As is normal for most content that gets added to endgame, we have introduced new Ultimatum passive skills to the Atlas tree.
Oh, baby.
One great example is the Keystone Grueling Gauntlet. It makes Ultimatums last 3 extra rounds, but you cannot choose the modifiers, and it prevents the final Trial Master boss fight from spawning. The level of challenge becomes extreme during the last 3 rounds, and not being able to choose the modifiers makes it even harder. But the rewards are insane, and for those with very high-end characters, it might be a bet worth making. There are lots of other Atlas passive skills you can pick from for Ultimatum, so choose wisely. Now, it's time to talk about one of the largest metagame changes we've ever made.
Okay.
There were 3 systems in Path of Exile that were all trying to subtly modify the behavior of skills. These were alternate quality gems, Labyrinth Helmet enchants, and unique threshold jewels. We've combined all of these together to create a new system called Transfig Gems that allows us to fully achieve the goal of these 3 systems and then some. Transfig Gems are alternative versions of existing skill gems that have different functionality and balance from their regular versions. We have added a huge number of these with interesting variations that drastically change how existing skills play. For example, Frostbomb of Instability. It changes it from a cooldown skill that you can cast occasionally for a large explosion into a skill that you can cast continuously but deals less damage and doesn't apply cold exposure.
Holy
It
shit!
changes the role of Frostbomb from a utility skill into a main damaging skill.
Oh my god.
Another example is Detonate Dead of Scavenging. You can't use it on corpses that were created by Desecrate or Unearth, but in exchange it does a whole lot more damage. You won't be able to use it as your main reliable source of damage, but it's a great skill to use as a Falling utility to get some extreme burst damage. Raise Zombie of Falling. Instead of raising a zombie from a corpse, you summon them from mid-air. They fall to their death, dealing AoE damage where they land. While this sounds like a physical damage version of Firestorm, you should consider that it scales with minion damage and also triggers on-death minion effects.
Wow.
Blight of Contagion. This version of Blight is now spread by Contagion, so you can use it as part of your Essence Drain build.
Wow.
We have a huge number of these. Transfigure Firestorm into Firestorm with Meteors, transfigure Blade Trap into Blade Trap of Great Swords, transfigure Barrage into Barrage of Volley Fire, and so on. There's a lot
Dude, this
to
is
experiment with, and we
insane.
look forward to seeing what builds you can come up with.
What?
But how do you get Transfigure Gems? The Divine Font at the end of the Eternal Labyrinth has been changed to a gem crafting device that can modify your skill and support gems in a lot of new ways. One of the options you can now choose is to turn a skill gem into one of 3 transfigured gems. But that isn't all the Divine Font can do. It has a lot of other gem crafting options you can use. For example, you can add quality to gems, add experience to gems, sacrifice a gem for 1 or more treasure keys to open Azaro's chests, and you can even exchange support gems
This
for
is
exceptional support gems
insanity,
like
dude.
Empower or Enlighten. These are just some of the options you'll find the Divine Font is now capable of. In order to replace the rewards and heist that previously gave alternate quality gems, we have done a rebalance of the rewards of heist as well. Experimented base types have been rebalanced. New replica uniques have been added and old ones changed, and we have increased the amount of currency from display cases as well. On top of this, we have gone through and buffed the quality stats on most damage dealing skills. In most cases, they will be significantly more powerful than before, and also more interesting.
Nice.
Overall, this is one of the largest metagame shifts that we've ever done. There are so many crazy new skill combinations to plan around, so we expect to see some really interesting new builds. Next up, I'd like to hand back over to Chris to talk about the new supporter packs.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
At this point, we'd usually talk about the League supporter packs. We're doing things a bit differently this year. Rather than releasing League supporter packs today and then our annual core packs 2 weeks later, we've combined it all together into a strong set of core supporter packs that will be released alongside Path of Exile Affliction next week. The series contains 5 packs, each with its full value in points and a collection of exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. The higher packs contain physical merchandise. We'll unveil the full details of each of the packs at release next week, but in the meantime, here's a sneak peek of some of their exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. These packs will be available for purchase when Path of Exile Affliction launches on the 8th of December. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Remember
We're just
the
about to
8th
start the
of
Q&A
December.
with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post Path of Exile Affliction's full patch notes. With the release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Affliction's release. Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kyrix Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to exploring the Viridian Wildwood with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Brother! Dude, I don't know. This is so much shit. It's so exciting. Oh my god. Next week's gonna be huge, man. Oh man, I'm gonna be playing nothing but this when it drops for weeks. I'm so excited. Now, new Ascendancies, bruh. That is insane. Coated blade. Oh man, this is interesting. This is like the rogue in Diablo 4, right? Like with but in Diablo 4 you get 3 different damage types that you can use on the weapon. But as I understand it, this can just be whatever, random. What does this say? 10% increased quantity of primal wisps found in the Viridian Wildwood. Hits inflict 5 wither debuffs for 2 seconds on enemies that are on full life. It's steal frenzy charges. That's insane, dude. Stealing frenzy charges? Oh, I'm imagining you could get like something like stealing all charges, maybe, or stealing frenzy power and endurance charges, maybe. So effectively, this will serve like a little bit like a nerfed version of a headhunter. You don't steal all the buffs, but you still charges at least, you know? That's kind of sick. So we could build into like a nice frenzy charge build and then use these things to steal the frenzy charges from the mobs. Oh, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Now, my question was, do these act like flasks in terms of can we craft them? Can we upgrade them? Can I throw instilling orbs on them? You know what I mean? Because they did not say anything about that here. What else? Yeah, this is the one with the frenzy charges. Healing blows against rare monsters have 11% chance to grant one of their modifiers for 60 seconds. Dude. Increasing damage against enemies that are on low life. And a calling strike. So this is essentially like half of this is from Assassin, I believe. To get calling strike and increased damage when enemies on low life. This is very good against bossing. This is very good against bossing. Damn, dude. Chance to gain onslaught for 10 seconds. All damage can ignite. Oh my god. All damage can ignite. Yo. Flasks adjacent to applied tincture gain 3 charges when you hit an enemy with a weapon. No more than once every second. Flasks adjacent to tincture have 30% increased effect when used if you've hit an enemy with a weapon recently. Interesting. Interesting. So you gain 3 charges on hit, basically. This is good for like melee builds. But I think the most broken one is not this one. This is like the warlock class. This class is like... Dude, imagine playing Necromancer and having this on top. Like, Raging Spirits builds will be insane now. Because you get a bunch of on-death effects, as we saw, and you can summon like a crazy fucking... You can summon a Hydra as a Spectre. That's insane. Yo, minion builds are gonna be crazy, I feel like. I might check it out, actually. It's been a while since I played a minion build. Damn, I might actually fucking league start with a minion build. Ooh. Interesting. But I think the most broken one is the third one. Like this thing right here. This thing for Raging Spirits.
When they are near death. Giving them life degen and making them explode for massive damage when they are near death.
Because Raging Spirits will die anyway. So degenning their life does not really matter as much. And because you keep spawning them, right? So you keep doing damage when they go away. That's kind of crazy.
One of them prevents enemies from dealing damage. This curse...
Yeah, and this is kind of crazy.
Curse duration or reduce it. Build duration. One of them prevents enemies from dealing damage for the latter portion of its duration, which is quite powerful against bosses. This curse creates the interesting build decision of whether or not you should increase curse duration or reduce it.
That's kind of nuts.
The final curse is a mark that causes enemy phantasms.
But I think this is the most broken one. So you get to modify it as you want.
You do this with charms that you can buy from the Primal Huntress for Vivid Wisps. Charms have randomly generated mods, which give stats from regular Ascendancy classes.
This is crazy. Oh, sorry. When I said part of the Ascendancy back on the other Ascendancy, I was wrong. That's not what's happening. I thought that I was looking at this. So this is the shit that gives you half from one Ascendancy, half from another Ascendancy, and this is the most broken thing, I think. I feel like minion builds might be insane, and I think just for other builds, this Ascendancy will be crazy as well, the craziest one. I feel like builds with this Ascendancy will be ridiculous. I'm really interested in checking this out myself right now. Anyway, that was Path of Exile Affliction. Holy moly. I don't know if I've been this excited for a new league for a while now. I think the last time I was excited for a new league was this excited was maybe, I don't know, like 3-4 leagues ago. I think I was excited for Kalandra, but obviously we didn't know that Kalandra will be the Kalandra League. But you know, when they revealed it, it looked insane. There was a lot of cool things, potentials in that league. Actually, Crucible was quite exciting when they first revealed it. I thought that the Crucible mechanic was really interesting then, but then I played it and it wasn't as cool as I thought it was. But anyway, but this now looks amazing. There's so much shit in this. There's so much shit. The fucking this thing, the new lab rewards, completely changing how your gems work right now. That is insane. That's probably the most exciting thing about the whole league. Damn. So between this, the new Ascendancies, and Ultimatum being back, might be the best league this year, hands down. It definitely might be. Anyway, a week left. A week left. Get ready. Get your fucking you know, things. Get your shit in order, whatever you're doing, because on the 8th of December, we're playing Path of Exile Affliction, and we're not stopping. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and you know, like and subscribe if you like what you see. It will support the channel really, and I'll appreciate that, you know. Anyway, thanks guys. I will see you on the next video, and keep it real, cuzzy wuzzies. Bye.